Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss the 2024 update of the core Seamaster, the icon, the Omega Seamaster Diver 300 meter. It rose to fame in the 1990s on the wrist of James Bond, but over time it has proved to be the most enduring Seamaster professional design. Previous decades saw the Seamaster dive watches redesigned periodically, and it was almost completely clean sheet each time. It is this design with the unique case, the unique dial, the unique skeleton hands, the lugs, the bezel, all of this enduring since it first bowed back in 1993, making it the first Omega Seamaster dive watch that truly does have the evergreen longevity of the Rolex Submariner. However, it has always been a watch capable of testing the breadth of its design range. So here we have a model that is modeled after the James Bond 007 edition. So we have a bubble crystal, like a vintage plexi, a no-date dial, and then a full mesh bracelet. 42 millimeter steel case is 14 millimeters thick, 49.8 from lug tip to lug tip. There's a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The nice thing about this bracelet is that it has the finest qualities of a bracelet and a strap. So unlike a bracelet, you don't need to add or remove links, and unlike a strap, you don't need to periodically replace it when it gets sweaty, nasty, or wears down. So you have a bracelet that is mesh-like, and you can see these are actually big sheets of metal chainmail that are then cut to the shape and size of the strap bracelet, and then the sides are machined to remove any burns or marks that are sharp. You can see that you simply take the buckle, which is on one side. Omega calls this the shark-proof bracelet, and you open up the buckle. Inside, you can see that there's a little clasp, and they're smart about this. They've added a little clasping mechanism so that you don't stand a chance of pull-through, which is a pitfall that sometimes befalls deploying clasps when the little pin inside the clasp fails to hold the strap and it pulls straight through. Here, it actually has little spring-loaded ceramic pin snaps inside of the locking mechanism so that it will remain tight, snappy, and secure. And once this is down, it is secured. You cannot pull the bracelet through the clasp. But you can also see that it has a twin trigger release, so you have to press both to open it up so it's securely closed. And then because all this excess length tucks underneath the clasp and the rest of the bracelet, you don't see it when it's buckled down and sized, so you don't need minder loops. Looking at the case, you can see it's very familiar. Lyre-style lugs. So we have the inward bevel and the outward bevel. That's what that refers to. Satin end polish for contrast. We have the helium escape valve, which is for saturation divers. Open that up, and as you surface during your big decompression after a saturation dive, helium in the watch will exit as long as the valve is open when internal pressure exceeds external by 2 to 3 bar. We have a screw-down crown, 300 meter water resistance. It is an ISO 6425 diver, so it will have been tested individually to 125% of the rated depth on the dial. And so this would have been tested to 375 meters before it left the factory. Now, the bezel, 120 clicks. And this bezel design just gets better and better with time. It's got a shallow knurling, so you want to set it before your hands get wet. But the sound and feel of the detent just keeps getting better with every successive generation of this watch. The insert of the bezel is actually a piece of titanium, and it's laser ablated to create this pattern. So it's not exactly the same metal as the rest of the watch, which is why there's a bit of a tonal contrast. The straight bar junction of the bracelet with the case is a lovely vintage 60s look, and then the dial has a brushed metallic pattern, giving this whole watch a metallic grayscale aesthetic. Better quality than in the Pierce Brosnan days, as we now feature applique rather than printed indices, but the distinctive skeleton-style James Bond hands remain. You can see that the crystal's been modified for this model. It is more cambered with a double curvature to give it some of that distortion you'd get with a plexi. And we have a hacking seconds function, so you can stop this watch and set it to a reference time. You'll also notice as we do our loom shot here that the bezel pearl and the minute hand are green and everything else is blue, so you can read the bezel and the minute hand relative to each other and the elapsed time quickly. without confusion. Also, you have a loomed seconds hand, so you know, even in the dark and in the depths, whether this backup dive timer, because it probably will be your backup, is actually running. So that's helpful. And I often find that dive bezels are handier than chronographs in real life and cheaper to service down the line. You can see there's a little bit of a sector design to the seconds and minutes track outboard. Flip it all over. We have caliber 8806, which is the 8800 without a date. It is single barrel, automatic, 55-hour power reserve with stop seconds. It is a 35 joule movement. It has a 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate, and for shock resistance, it has a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. It is a coaxial escapement, tangential friction rather than the sliding friction of a conventional Swiss lever. I always say this is the most exotic escapement you can buy for under $50,000, and I believe that is still true. We've got an Edda-shock spring right there. It is highly anti-magnetic to the point of being amagnetic to over 15,000 Gauss or 1.5 Tesla. That's because of an anti-magnetic balance staff, balance escapement, and a silicon hairspring. Part of the master chronometer test is that shock of magnetic force. This is a master chronometer, so the movements met all the COSC chronometer requirements, but it goes beyond. Tested in 6 positions for chronometry as a fully assembled watch. It has to pass winding efficiency, power reserve, water resistance, durability, and yes, the magnetism tests as a fully assembled watch. This standard, created by Omega and the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, is an open standard, and a watch that meets the standard can be a master chronometer. And we're now starting to see Tudor certify its movements in that regard. And so Omega was the trendsetter there, raising the standards for the industry. And this is a watch that will look good 30 years hence, the most evergreen and enduring Seamaster design. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.